And this video begins like some of the previous ones before the sun even comes up. I'm already at the airport here in Orlando, ready to get on a plane, fly to New York City, LaGuardia's airport. This is my first time in the new terminal that just opened last fall. And I gotta say, this is pretty impressive. It's very expansive. It's a lot bigger than I expected it to be. And there's a lot of walking involved because these corridors are no joke and there are no moving walkways. But it was quick and easy, nobody in security. It was pretty awesome, I'm not gonna lie. I'm gonna try and fly out of this more often.
We'll be underway shortly. Please stow all carry-on items. Smaller bags and personal items should be placed all the way under the seat in front of you. Larger items can be stowed in the overhead bins.
And we're officially off the ground and on our way to New York City. I love going there. I've been there a handful of times over the years, but it's been 14 years, actually almost 15 years since I've been to New York City. So I'm really looking forward to this trip. The flight was really, really comfortable. We weren't packed in. It was maybe 40% capacity. So it was a very comfortable flight. And there's a beautiful view of aerial shot of Manhattan.
And JetBlue welcomes you to New York's LaGuardia Airport. The local time is 8:27 a.m.
Yeah, last time I flew into LaGuardia Airport, it did not look like this. They have done extensive renovations on this place. Very, very impressed. So we decided to go in here to the Times Square location of the Disney store. It's set up on 2 levels, the upper floor being mostly Star Wars and Marvel, a few princess items, things like that, with the castle. Whereas downstairs was more of the general themed merchandise, the Mickey, Minnie stuff, original characters, that kind of thing. This was my first trip on a New York City subway. I've been on the subway in Boston before, but never in New York City. Every time I've happened to be here, I've always had either my own vehicle or a rental car. So this is really my first public transport in New York City on the subway. So it was great. I really enjoyed it. So our first order of business was to head all the way downtown to Battery Park. I cannot tell you how cold and intense the winds were. You can just see by the waves there. It was crazy. The weather wasn't bad. It was probably about 50 degrees. But that wind coming off the water was insane. You could actually feel it blowing you along. It was crazy. This building is Fraunces Tavern. It was built as a home in 1719, and ever since 1762 it's been functioning as an active tavern. It still is an active tavern to this day. It's a blackened salmon sandwich, which looks amazing. And what did you get?
A grilled cheese with bacon and tomato bisque.
Nice. Many notable historical figures frequented this tavern to have a pint, to have dinner and lunch. The most famous of these was George Washington, who both before and after the war addressed his officers here. This room here is called the Long Room, and in here he had his farewell address to his officers on December 4th, 1783. The furniture and artifacts in this room are not original to the day and the time that Washington was here. However, they are original to the period. So all the furniture and everything you see in here is over 250 years old. After lunch, we spent about an hour going through the museum, which is located on the second and third floors here at Fraunces Tavern. It's well worth the admission price of $7. Highly recommended. This is the only panel still in existence that adorned the carriage that carried General Washington to his inaugural address as president.
This is incredible. I'm a history nut, and the goosebumps are off the charts right now. George Washington in this room, his farewell address to his officers in 1783. Unbelievable. That is crazy.
Stone Street is thus called because it's one of the final remaining streets that actually has the original cobblestones from all the way back in the 18th century. This is a location I've had on my list for a while. Bowling Green Park is the earliest established municipal park in New York City. It was established in 1733. Like I mentioned earlier, the wind was no joke. You can still hear it just whipping through here.
And this is the Cunard Line building. Cunard Line was the shipping line that created the Titanic, among others. This building was not yet here when the Titanic sank, but this was the headquarters in New York for the Cunard Line. In keeping with the George Washington theme of the day, this is the location for his inaugural address. This is Trinity Church, located in the heart of the financial district, just off of Wall Street. We spent quite a lot of time wandering the cemetery grounds here, taking in some of the famous names buried here. The most famous of which was, of course, Alexander Hamilton.
But today they said they shot a people, so I came here. Yes, nice to see you.
Despite the fact that this is located right in the middle of downtown, there was a feel of serenity here. It was actually quite calming while I was sitting here. It was very, very interesting. We're walking over now to the 9/11 Memorial, which I've never been to. I've never been to Ground Zero before in all the times I've been to New York City. This was really, really well done. It was, again, another sort of a sense of serenity and quiet here amid the hustle and bustle of downtown. Another one of the many chapels and churches that dot the landscape in downtown Manhattan. This was St. Paul's Chapel. I couldn't help notice the random Fight Club insignia. This wasn't the only one I saw, by the way. After walking for several hours, we decided to take a little break in a local coffee shop here on Broadway. Just had a little hot chocolate, rested our feet. Around 4:30 in the afternoon, we made it up to Union Square. And while we were here, we just decided to rest a while on one of the benches, do a little people watching. Eventually, we moved on a little bit, but from here, we're going to meet my cousin for dinner. While we were sitting in Union Square, I just happened to look at my map and noticed that this was only about 3 blocks away. So I definitely headed over to check this out.
My head looked like a whole Rocky chicken.
That's what I've been trying to tell you. Look, you're like, you alright? What's up with your hat? That's about to pop off your head. What are we standing in front of?
The birthplace of someone.
Theodore Roosevelt, not someone. My favorite president. Did you know that?
No.
Yep, my favorite president of all time. Was born right in this house.
It's a brownstone.
Yep, and that's pretty awesome. That is pretty cool. I've never been here before, so it's the first time.
The structure on the left there with the scaffolding is the Flatiron Building. This isn't the normal iconic angle that you see it from, but that is the Flatiron Building. And I gotta say, this is just my favorite time of the night. This is like a really interesting time when the city just sort of comes to life with the lights taking over, with the sunsets. Just a really cool feel at this time of day.
Well, it'll go. I mean, it'll go down over time, but it's so long interest in that. So, and so forward.
This is a view of East 23rd Street from across the street at Madison Square Park. This is Ito Japanese restaurant. It's a sushi place. We had a great dinner here with my cousin Matthew and his fiancee Sarah. A great end to a great day. Typical subway scenes in New York. end of a great day, but a long day with a lot of walking. Almost 10 miles we walked today. We're gonna sleep easy tonight. Back in our hotel room. Thanks for joining us on day 1 of our New York trip. Look forward to seeing you for day 2.